So let's talk about your goals for 2020. So we're halfway through 2020. They may have
What a ride it's been.
they may have changed a little bit from maybe what your goals were in January of 2020, but right now they are discipline, dream, plan, enjoy, and create.
Mm-hmm.
What are you creating right now?
Get ready for the real estate show that takes you across the barriers and into the danger zone. That Bitchin' Real Estate Podcast with your host, Tenacious T.
Well, right now I'm creating my home. I just purchased a home a couple of, about 45 days ago, and now I'm moving in tomorrow. So that's
awesome.
exciting. But yeah, to me, it's a constant joy in my life to see things transform. And for me, I think that's why I move every 2 to 3 years, because I just like seeing different places and creating different environments and keeping them and then just moving on to the next. It's very interesting.
So you've kept all of your properties for the most part that
All of
you've
them.
purchased.
Every single one of them.
That's so awesome. Oh my God.
Yeah.
All of your properties from the time you started buying
22,
properties
yeah.
from 22
Yeah.
till now. What makes this particular home different?
Well, this one's really special because it's the first home I ever bought in Paradise Valley, and it's historic, which is really cool. The community started and was built in the 1930s, Casablanca.
Love it.
And it's on their rose garden, which is really beautiful. And so it's just really special. It's a small little pied-à-terre. It's like 1,300 square feet, 2-bedroom, 2.5 bath. Views are beautiful. Location's fantastic. And it's just very special. I like things that take you back in time that are very hard to recreate.
I was going to say, what did it feel like when you first stepped onto that property?
For me, it felt like I was in old Hollywood or something.
Yeah.
It was really cool.
Oh my God, I can totally see it.
Yeah.
You're going to have a big photo shoot when you're done with it, right? Yeah.
I'll try.
That'll be awesome. Discipline. Discipline for me is an interesting word. Because yes, we have to discipline ourselves to follow certain steps to see our vision come to life. But discipline is a harsh word.
Yeah. Well, yeah, unfortunately, to be successful, you have to cut out other things that aren't adding to your success. And a lot of people do a lot of things in life that when you really think about it, aren't getting them to that end goal, whatever that is. They're just doing them because everyone else is doing them.
Yeah. For instance, you can't just go on social media and think that you're going to get 100 clients tomorrow.
No, it takes years. It takes years of genuine relationship development. And it takes years of helping people with your gifts, like you said. And so, the quicker you go out and meet more people and genuinely help them, which you've been successful at, I've been successful at, it changes your life.
It does.
It changes your life. When you take that determination within yourself and saying, pre-COVID, or hopefully post, if we can safely go out and meet people on a daily basis, we're going to be more successful.
So doesn't that turn the word discipline into more following a routine and sacrificing?
Yeah, they're one and the same in my mind. And for me, financial discipline was very important because I've been in high lows through the real estate economy my whole life. My dad's lost 3 or 4 fortunes in his life. Yeah,
I've blown through
it's exhausting.
Some money myself. Yes.
It's exhausting. It's a roller coaster ride of up and down and up and down. And so you try to create this baseline of multiple sources of income for yourself and your loved ones and all that stuff to where even whatever happens, it's indestructible.
Right.
And it's hard to do.
It is.
It's hard to do.
And it's daunting, actually, to think about. And, I'll take my son, who's 24, who's just now thinking of getting into the real estate business. But the concept of multiple lines, multiple streams of income is just foreign to him. No matter how much I've explained it to him, he just doesn't. Some people just don't see it. So what is your advice to someone like that? I mean, if they just have that one frame of mind, I just want to do one thing, how do they discipline themselves to expand that? And is that okay just to want to do one thing?
If you want to do one thing, it's not a problem to begin. The key is, initially a lot of people say, well, how do I get started if I have nothing?
Right.
And everyone says, follow your dreams, follow your, I think, honestly, I don't know if I can cuss or not. That's bullshit.
You can.
Total bullshit. And the reason I say that is because in your 20s, you have to do everything you can to make as much money as early on as possible and take that money and multiply it.
Yeah.
And the only way really to do that is to do whatever you're really good at that pays you the most. And that's discipline and that's sacrifice. And take that money, you save that money, and then once you save it, what I did with it that changed my life is I put it into real estate.
Yeah.
And so the formula, that's a real brief synopsis because I'm not going to get into my secret sauce.
Sure.
But basically, as early as you can, especially in this low interest rate environment, buy a primary residence. Buy a single family home that's a real decent, nice little area, whatever you can afford. Put 10% down, get a 30-year fixed mortgage. Buy down the rate as low as possible and just live in it. You need a place to live.
Yes. Equity.
And then if you don't like it, rent it.
Yeah.
Don't sell it. And the reason I say don't sell it is because a lot of people, what they do is they take that money and they keep upgrading.
Yeah.
They buy a bigger house. They buy a more expensive car. We're all guilty of it. But it doesn't necessarily help your net worth if you track it over 20, 30, 40 years.
Sure.
But if you think about it, if you took every house that you ever bought and instead of selling it, you rented it, and you're making $500, $1,000 more a month than what you're paying on your mortgage, and you start multiplying that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 20.
Yeah.
The numbers are mind-boggling because you have appreciation boosting you, and you also have cash flow every month. That is your saving grace.
So true. Is this something you offer your clients? Is the financial advice and continued support throughout their entire real estate
100%.
career?
I mean, one of the reasons I think my closest friends and people that know me and what I do in real estate take my advice is because they know I'm not going to lead them astray.
Right.
And for me, an end user and buying a beautiful $2 or $3 million house, that's beautiful. And if we can all get there, fantastic.
Yeah.
But the reality is, not all of us can.
Right.
Not all of us don't know how to get there.
Right.
And so whatever your stage is in life, this is a duplicatable system. And wherever you are in your income level, you can do it.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it just takes you taking that risk. And it's hard.
Yeah.
I mean, I was scared to death when I bought my first house. And here's an example. I bought my first house at 22 with $8,000 down. 30-year fixed mortgage at 4%, which at the time was really low. Now it's much lower. And that $8,000 over the course of 9 years has turned into $185,000 in equity.
That's crazy.
For me doing nothing.
Yeah, it's
And
beautiful.
that's just one example. And it's not rocket science. It really isn't.
I think clients need that voice of reason, though, too. And you service all stages. It's not just $1 million client or a $5 million client. It's anyone that comes to you.
I like younger people that are willing to learn and have the discipline to want to learn. I mean, obviously, I love wealthier, older individuals that already have made their money because they're in a different stage in their life. They're very definitive in what they want. But people that are always willing to grow and understand and learn from others, I'm always willing to help them.
Do you ever say no?
Oh, you have to, 100% of the time. The truth is, A, you can't help everyone. And number two, you can't help people at a detriment to yourself.
Yes.
That's a big
love
one.
it.
The hard part is people take advice and they don't necessarily implement it. And if they took the right advice from the right people and not the wrong advice from people that aren't where they want to be, they would be far more successful. The problem is so many people give advice. And most of those people aren't in the place that you want to be anyway. So why would you take advice from them?
So true. Oh, my goodness. Yes. And I think that's why your clients have a lot of confidence in you because taking your advice, you are living exactly.
I'm living what I teach, and that's what I always tell people. It astonishes me, so many agents that don't own properties. Oh, you got to buy a property. You can't rent. Why don't you own a property if you're trying to sell that on to others? I would never push anything onto anyone that I wouldn't 100% believe in myself and do and put my money to work in.
What is your next level that you're working towards as we move forward?
when it comes to markets, we're always in state of flux. You know, moving forward, just take 2020, for instance, there's a lot of unknowns, you know, because you have COVID, we're on a very hot market. Everyone's flocking to Arizona right now, which is great.
And I can't tell you how many offers get put in 4 hours.
Right.
It's kind of like 2004, 2005 again.
But, you know, like anything, what goes up must come down. And what I always say is be prudent, be cautiously optimistic, and really plan for what's the worst case scenario and what can I do today to prepare in case something bad happens, because it always will. The question is when.
The preparation is very
that's
important.
Hard. It's hard.
Yeah, it is. It's very difficult.
You know, unfortunately, we live and die by so many things that are out of our control. You know, interest rates, people moving here, spending habits, all those things we don't have control over. But we do have control over our own personal finances and the people in our lives.
And our heart.
And our heart.
And our heart.
Yeah, and our heart of doing good for others. You have that. I try to have that. And a lot of people that are our colleagues have that, which is great.
Yeah. So we're going to step into the famous questions.
Great.
So I want you're sitting down, you're thinking of a description, you've got this beautiful house in front of you. What is your favorite descriptive word?
Magical.
Magical. Oh my gosh, I haven't used that one yet. I'm going to have to use that one. Okay, so agents out there, magical. What is your least favorite word?
Fancy.
Fancy. Yeah, that does have a little bit of hey, it's grandma's fancy kitchen, right?
No, I don't like that word
It's a little
at all.
Gold tool going on. Yeah, fancy. Okay, so personal space. You've had a really, really long day. Let's say you've got jet lag, you've traveled, you just finished even maybe having dinner and some wine, and it's 5:30 and your eyes open and you've got a full day. You have to do this day. What is your turn on? What gets you going?
So it'll be funny. So two things. One's Red Bull. I like a quick Red Bull. And also Amanda Malcolm actually makes a great coffee drink. It's frozen banana, iced coffee, almond milk, and a few other potions. But to have something cool, especially in the heat, and I need a shot of caffeine quickly.
Like first thing in the morning.
Right out the gate.
Love it.
Jumpstart the engine.
So do you have your drink? It could be your Red Bull or your banana coffee thingy. What are you doing while you're drinking that?
Usually I'm on my computer or on the phone and talking to people. And what I realize is the biggest tool, I'm going to bring this out because it's so important, is you have to fill this up with as many numbers as possible of people that can help you. If you ever have any problem, everyone needs to be a phone call away. Because if you have that, you're indispensable. You'll always be making money.
So your first thing, once you've got your little bit of caffeine, is you're right into it. You're right into your routine. You're hitting those emails.
Trying to.
Yeah.
Believe me, I'm lazy, and we're all guilty of it. But the thing is, when we're excited about something we're doing and we're helping people and they're excited, that's contagious.
Yes.
And when you're really in a project that gets you up every morning and gets you going, I'll work throughout the night because I just enjoy it so much.
Right. And that's what this show is for me. I could, it takes me about 30 hours a week to edit these. But the whole time, and I caught myself doing it when I was editing Tracy Fitzgerald, the whole time I was doing it, I had the biggest smile on my face.
Yeah, Tracy's
my hands can be hurting, and I'm just like, oh, this is so good, because I love the editing process of it. I love telling the story in it. That's what you have found and you have defined, it sounds like, most of your life.
Well, thank you. That's what I always say. I said the first thing, what is your story?
Yeah.
No one cares about you. All they care about is your story and how your story is going to impact them for the better.
And how they can emulate it.
Yeah, 100%.
Or get through something because of it.
And how you can help them.
Yeah.
If you can help them, you're indispensable to people.
What turns you off? What is that thing that I have no time in my life for that?
I don't have time for victims, and I don't have time for people that don't want to take action.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that are hard out there, and life can be very hard, but you can always take action to try to change it.
Yeah, life's not fair.
No, it never will be.
Nope.
That's the first thing Bill Gates actually said. He said, one thing you got to realize, life's not fair. It never will be.
Nope.
You got to take what's given you and make the best hand possible.
Yeah, I love that. This one will be bleeped for the families that are going to be watching, but what is your favorite curse word?
That's a good question. Probably fuck.
Yeah, it's popular. Fuck is the famous word. It is, and I say this a lot. Back in the 80s, I remember this one sheet of paper that went through school, and it was fuck in its many uses. You can use it for anything. It can be happy, it can be sad, it can be rude, it can be, and it is a very popular word for sure.
And another thing I realized too, which I don't know if this is true, but I use profanity quite a lot when I'm in an uncensored setting.
Yeah.
And it helps me articulate what I need to get done. And I've noticed people that use profanity more often in a controlled way are usually more intelligent in some way. Because a lot of people say it to me and I understand what they're saying more fluidly.
Right.
Yeah.
And again, it could be, you've got the toll guy on the bridge and he's just saying it because that's just what he says all the time. Or you are attending, let's say, a huge event and the speaker on stage needs to get their point across. They may use a few specific swear words.
Absolutely.
And that's in the intelligent way.
As long as it's not malicious and putting others down, I'm all for them. Go with them.
Absolutely. Okay, so another personal space. What is your favorite noise or sound?
I love the ocean.
Yeah.
Waves against rocks. It's beautiful.
You go to the ocean a lot.
All the time.
I see a lot of posts. Is it a calming thing for you too?
Yeah, I love the ocean. I mean, if I had my way and I didn't have to work, I'd be in Italy all the time. Yeah. Love the food, love the people, love the ocean. That to me is just paradise.
So yeah, my husband's whole family's from Tenacious down from Palermo, and I haven't had the opportunity to go, but he said that the same thing when he's gone out. There's something so calming, not only about the ocean, but communities that have built their culture right there next to the ocean. They're a different type of person.
It's very organic. I mean, it's very simple in a beautiful way. It's about family. It's about food. It's about living life. Here, it's about the individual. Overseas, it's a lot more about the collective and the family, which is
connection.
And the connection, which is important.
Yeah.
And enjoying life.
Yeah.
We work so hard sometimes we don't enjoy.
Enjoy the
and
simple
we need
things.
To. Yeah.
So what noise or sound do you dislike?
I hate loud pitched noises like little girls screaming or, animals barking and things like that. That just gnaws at my psyche.
I think that gnaws at a lot of us, for sure.
Yeah.
So let's take real estate off the table. Let's take finances off the table, numbers off the table. Profession. If you could do anything, what would it be and why?
Other than what I'm doing now?
Yes, you have to take it off the table. There's no real estate.
Ironically, which it ties into, I mean, my minor was film media production. So one thing I always loved is the film industry.
Yes.
I'd probably be an actor or be a director or be some part of that industry if I wasn't doing what I'm doing.
I could see you, Quentin Tarantino, like
I like Quentin Tarantino.
Because you have that, again, you have a calm demeanor, but you can tell there's a lot spinning up there as even if you're just sitting there not saying anything. Why do you think you didn't pursue that?
It's a bigger risk, and it's a risk that from a numeric standpoint, I didn't think it was worth taking. For me, there's always time to pursue your passions if you set up your necessities first. And so film, luckily in real estate, we can implement a lot of that in real estate. But for me, I was never foolhardy and foolish to think instantly I would become famous because I know what goes into becoming that way. And it's just not in the cards for everyone, not because they're great. It's just because of luck and or life.
Right. But it is something you could possibly pursue later.
Never know.
Yeah. So maybe that could be kind
Steve
of...
McQueen, honestly, didn't even become an actor until his mid to late 30s when his girlfriend said you should act.
Yeah.
So
same with, Gene. He was in Superman. He played Lex Luthor.
Gene Hackman.
He was 33 on his first role. So see, you may be creating something right now in the back of your head that may happen later.
There you go.
Love
Hollywood could become calling.
So I want you to think of a famous person, dead or alive, and it doesn't have to be a celebrity. It could be a celebrity, political figure, someone in history. If you could have dinner with them, who would it be and why?
Actually, I ask that question all the time to other people. You rarely have it asked to myself. That's a hard one. There's a lot of people in history that have done so many interesting things.
Yes.
Off the beaten path, I think Abraham Lincoln would be pretty interesting to have dinner with.
Yeah.
Just because of all the implements of change, especially now with social unrest and Black Lives Matter and all that stuff, what he must have gone through to do what he did for our country.
Is that the question you would ask him too?
It'd be interesting. I mean, I know his wife had a lot to do with it, but it would be interesting because he made a lot of differentiations and improvements in our country right off of 4th of July. So.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Where would you take him to dinner?
That's a good question. Ford Theater. No, I'm just kidding.
Right. Oh, God.
Hopefully not. I don't know. That's a good question.
Chair.
For me, I've never really loved fancy dinners.
Right.
I just like calm, good food, home-cooked meals. So
you can talk. Would you cook for him maybe?
Oh, absolutely. I'd love to.
There you go.
Cooking's great.
I have noticed you've been doing a few little cooking little spots on your
therapeutic.
channel. Yeah. So you would cook him dinner and you would pick his brain. Do you think that's because that's part of what you are trying to do too, is change things in your life and the people that you're surrounded with? Are you looking to make a change?
Always looking to improve. And I think any life that's successful has to do with systems that are constantly improved upon. I mean, you look at anyone that people idolize today, like Elon Musk or Warren Buffett, there's so many great figures out there that have been ridiculed their whole lives. They do something great. They change our lives.
Yeah.
And their minds are so complex and unique that constantly all they're doing is trying to improve them.
I think the one commonality that I have seen in very successful entrepreneurs, people in history like Abraham Lincoln, they knew very early on that they were different and they were not going to compromise their ideas. And they moved forward with it.
And they fail all the time.
Yeah.
That's the thing I realized. You're going to fail often. And the more you fail, it just leads a quicker path to success. Get rid of it, move on, and focus on what is working and focus on that.
Walt Disney.
Yeah, that's true too.
Big
Walt
thing with
is
him.
a great guy.
Yeah.
But there's so many people that we learn from. Now with phones and the internet, you can learn so much just at your own computer. It's unbelievable.
Easy access, but it's not the same as being able to sit down and make dinner for Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah, that would be cool. I would definitely pay to be in that room.
Yes, exactly. Well, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks for your time.
Michael, how can people get a hold of you? And this will be floating over your head, of course, so I can put it in the video.
Easiest thing to do is probably social media, Instagram, Michael Banovac, all lowercase, and or Facebook, Michael Banovac. That's the easiest way.
Awesome. Well, thank you again for
Thank
joining me.
you. Appreciate the time.
This is Kimberly Toko, Tenacious T.